What's going on, everybody? We made it. We came to the end. This is it. Welcome to Derry, episode 8, the season finale, Winter Fire. Of course, we're talking full spoilers. Lamont, oh my goodness gracious, like I said, we came to the end. What did you think of the season finale, sir? What did you think?
Amazing. It felt more like it could have been a movie, a film in the theaters than just a TV finale. I was wondering how were they going to top the last episode. They stuck the landing. Everything went well for me, and I was glad to see it. And I can't wait for the next season.
Okay, okay, I can dig it. I can dig it. I did enjoy the episode. Overall, I did think they stuck the landing. There were some things that bothered me that I could have dealt without. Some of the aspects remind me of episode 3, but not as bad because episode 3 is still the weakest. I don't want to go as far as saying that this is the second weakest, but there was a large component that just rubbed me the wrong way. Um, it also fell into some silly horror film tropes that I'm just not a fan of. Just like, you're screaming at the screen, like, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? You should be doing this. This is silly. And it's kind of unfortunate because it's the last episode. So you want it just to be just some big spectacle. And it was to a degree. It just wasn't a complete home run to me. I actually did like episode 7 better by far.
Mm.
Just the way the episode was put together, the way it was shot, the how the characters ended up, really pulled on my heartstrings. Not to say that episode 8 didn't either. But I'm overall I'm satisfied, but I wanted just a bit more. And I think that's just because I think episode 7 was better than episode 8. But the way that it started off, Lamont, my goodness gracious. My goodness gracious. First time I watched this, and I've only seen it 1.5 times, I had to turn it off. It was just too much for me. It was too much. We got Francis Shaw, his dumbass. He wants to release the Kraken. He wants to let the gate open and be like, hey, even though these people have been doing this for the past a few hundred years, I think I can come in, Bogart, and let me in, and do things my way. And he let the creature out the box, and is raising hell. Just it's chaos, it's mayhem everywhere, and that's the beginning of the episode where this mist is going everywhere. It is consuming Derry, terrorizing the high school, and to see what Pennywise did to that poor principal, turned him to a ventriloquist dummy. I'm just like, this is like, I swear this show should not have been called It Welcome to Derry. It should have been called It F Them Kids, man. Because this is horrific. And Lamont, I watched It Chapter 7 before this right here because it was told to me, B, before you watch episode 8, you need to rewatch It Chapter 1. Did I say It Chapter 7? The
Yeah.
second, yeah, my fault. It Chapter 1, and I did. And the movies don't got crap on this show. I mean, I was able to get through that. I mean, I seen it once. I didn't remember anything, but I was like, man, this is PG-13 compared to the show. But oh my gosh, man, that was horrible. Ripped that principal's face off and kicked it like a football through the body. For 2 minutes after that, I had to take a break. I was like, you know what? This is too much. I don't need to be watching this for breakfast. How did you feel about the intro, man? Did you poop your pants or piss your pants? Which one? Because I know you did either one of them.
No, I tightened my pants because I was laughing. It was funny
Oh,
to me. I
oh my
didn't
God.
bother me one bit. I mean, this I have come to understand that this is Pennywise. I've come to understand that not only does he like to make people fearful because that makes their meat taste better, the complete opposite of the why people go hunting for baby deer because they want the dough to be soft. The way he softens his meat is he makes you more afraid. And he does that through gruesome, horrible acts of violence, distraught, and death. And that's what he did to the principal. And you forgot to mention he poked his eyeballs out too.
Yeah, man. Yeah. You don't care about the children, man. You don't care about the kids.
Of course, I care about the kids, but the point for Pennywise is He cares about his children being scared to death because it make them taste sweeter.
Okay. Y'all let me know what y'all think about that. I pooped and pissed my pants. I was wondering what the confrontation was going to be like between Leroy Hanlon and Pennywise. Because like you said, Lamont, he likes to scare his victims to death, literally. But Hanlon has no fear. He cannot get afraid. That part of his adula oblongata has been removed. Okay. And Pennywise was still able to get to him. How was he able to get to him, man? And I thought that was kind of clever, through that phone call. What you got?
I loved it. I mean, at the end of the day, man, every emotion in any human can be reached if you know what right buttons to push. And I say that as an analogy because it was a phone call, only it was a rotary phone. So you didn't push the button, you dialed the button. He pushed the wheel button. And if somebody was to try to push my buttons, they could bother me through people I care about, you, my daughter, my son, my mama, my grandma, my wife, whoever that I care about. That would be how you push emotions in me. And I love how they done this in the story.
Yeah. Yeah. That was very effective right there. I want to say shout out to Pennywise, but I don't at the same time. Um, we've had Halloran and Handling go back and forth as well. Like, hey, I'm your superior officer. I don't give a damn if you get out. Hanlon was a little bit nicer to him last time. Like, hey, brother, you all right? Halloran like, no, I'm not. They're effing up my mind. And that's happening again times 10. I mean, he's seeing bodies come through the wall. They're coming from through the floor, behind the desk. I can, I'm big on suicide as far as I don't agree with it. Most black people don't agree with suicide. Most black people feel like, suicide is just a straight ticket to hell. We don't got to go too far down that rabbit hole, but it's true. It is true, or at least in my opinion. But and I don't agree with suicide. At the same time, easier said than done. We're all cut from different cloths. I try not to judge anybody, because some people go through hell far more than I have. I say all that to say, I wouldn't blame Halloran at all for blowing his head off like he almost did. And I was scared, Lamont. I was nervous, like, damn, like Stephen King been killing people left and right. No matter who you are, anybody can get it on the show. So Halloran definitely can as well. It's the end of the season. And I was nervous. I was scared. I was like, no, bro, please do not blow your head off. And I was just, they killed Rich last episode. So why not kill Halloran this episode? What was you feeling during that scene? Because like I said, I was at the edge of my seat and fright.
Because so many of our followers been jumping down my throat about I need to get my reading on about the series and the overall aspects of the show. I knew he wasn't going to die. I kind of read some things and I knew what his role would be later on post this season. So I never feared it, but I did like how they displayed the trauma, the mental health this man was going through.
Yeah.
Not only was he going through this mental health, but people kept continuously asking more of this man when his brain is scrambled like a blender. You know that commercial back in the 80s for all my 80s babies where they have an egg in a frying pan and they would say, this is your brain. Then they put the egg on the frying pan. This is your brain on drugs. Any questions? That's what they was doing to this black man. Yeah. And I love the evolution of the Hanlon, the Leroy Halloran friendship. Yes. Because in the beginning, when we first saw him, me and you first did the reviews, and we saw that crazy smile on Halloran's face, I honestly thought he was a shucker and a jiver, brother. I thought he was up there tap dancing for the white folks, and come to find out, man, he had a power, and he wound up coming through in the clutch.
Already. Yeah. Rightfully so. Like what you said about the evolution of their relationship. Also during this scene, man, we haven't seen Leroy this broken. I mean, he was nervous too. Like, please, they got my boy. They got Will. I'm begging you, man. I will help you pull the trigger myself. Damn, really? It's real in these streets, Lamont. I will help you kill yourself. Okay, but help me find my boy first. Yeah,
Yeah.
man. He was nervous too. I mean, I was just like, "Golly, this is too much. This is too much right here." You
But
know,
did you like how Hollering, through everything he's been through, and through all the Jedi mind tricks that have been played on him, B. Avery, this man cared enough about Leroy's family, his wife and his son, to put all that stuff aside to fight for them. When
yeah,
he said he's got will, Hollering just snapped out of it
yeah,
and went
yeah.
into action, bro.
There you
That's
go.
brotherly. That is brotherly love on a different level.
Yeah, man. I love it. I love it. It makes me go think of the beginning of the season when he did go over to his house. It makes that relationship
Mhm.
just seem that much more genuine. Like, I feel like I can connect to you. I don't know what and how, but it's just something about you, feels like we probably need to be close and you good people. And we need to be around each other. So well said, my brother. Well said. Y'all let us know what y'all think in the comment section. But Halloran is going crazy. He's seeing stuff that people come through the walls, dead people everywhere. Um, um, Leroy is nervous. He looking for Will. Please don't kill yourself yet. Just wait till we find my son. But then he has to go back and give the information to Charlotte. They cut to that scene and they having a powwow, and she has hit him in the head with that E Honda 100 hand slap move. You know what I'm saying? Mad, furious as hell. That is like God, has to be one of the worst feelings in the world, man. To have your wife, your woman feel betrayed like that because you lost a baby. She's never gonna get over that ever. I mean, we know what happened at the end of the episode, but that marriage is done. If Will is gone, and he kind of feels like he tried to do everything in his power. Stay in the house. Will want to go down to the sewers and almost get blown away when he should have been going down there. They told him to stay in the house. He almost got burnt up last episode. And then they go off the base, stay in the house, and then the clown still comes and get them. Man, it's like it's no hope. How can you explain that to your wife, man? You can't. And it sucks. And I felt sorry for him here too. What was your thoughts?
I've been there, man, and it kind of just depends on the dynamics of the relationship. And in that relationship, it was already kind of going down a rocky road because this was a place she didn't want to be. She's a freedom fighter. She always felt like there was some racism going on in that community. But not only did you have racism going on in the community, you had these mystical demon like powers going on in the community too. So she wanted to have nothing to do with it. And she felt like, as the matriarch of the family, she did all she could do to protect her baby and to really try to give some insight to the patriarch of the family. And oftentimes, because he's so stubborn, he didn't listen. And so that was her just venting her frustration. She got a couple of slaps to the face in there, a couple of backhand pimp slaps to the face. Eh, Yeah, man. He took it like a champ. And like you said, it was a rock and a hard place for him, but he's a fighter and he wanted his son. And this also highlights, B. Avery, the growth of the dynamic between the dad and the son. Because when the son first got there, dad really wasn't as attached to the son as he has grown to become by the end of this season. Because in the beginning, you remember there was some fractures between him and the son where he didn't know certain things that he liked. Mom had to explain it. And now it's come full circle. I need my son. I want to save my family. And damn it, I'm going to take on this entity to do it.
Right on, right on, right on. Something that it wasn't this prominent in this episode, except for one character. The
Mhm.
other one, she didn't pop up until the end. I don't think we've talked about this. Well, we did initially when it popped up, but I abandoned it. My bad. Is the relationship between Ingrid, Miss Kirsch, and Hank? At first, we was, it was serious as far as like, oh man, you got to leave these white women alone. I mean, it's especially in the '60s, it's not going to be a happy ending. you know, she's not going to leave her husband. Y'all are not going to get married and live happily ever after with a white picket fence. So why even start in the first place? It ain't no vagina that good, you know. And we have our jokes, we have our thoughts about racism, but she ends up being crazy. This dude was smashing the daughter of the devil. It's like, come on, Hank. Like we just haven't talked about that. I know other people have, but that's just crazy, man. Like it multiplies the exponents are just stacked on each other. Leave these white women alone. Not only for all the other obvious reasons, man. They doing deals with the devil, literally. You know what I'm saying? It's me, Stanley. This is who I really am.
But B. Avery, you've heard me say this way too many times. You've heard me say this over and over again, golly. And I hate to say it again, but you've heard me say this through show after show after show and in real life. The best pussy is always the crazy pussy.
Oh my
And
goodness.
and tell me, B, if you got to deal with the devil, it don't get no more crazier than that. And
Not,
so Hank was in there doing monkey double back flips, and look what it almost cost him. And sadly, B. Avery, us men, me included, we never learn our lesson when it comes to that weakness that we have for panty draws. And I don't know how many times we got to get burnt before we learn it, but we continue to see it over and over again. And thank goodness, sometimes you can learn your lesson and survive.
yeah, yeah. What type of tea was that, man? The Rose gave Halloran. Jeez,
Hey,
jeez.
you
That
bro, you ain't know that was that same Wakandan tea that they give you to get rid of the powers of the Black Panther. That's what that was. She done went up there and crushed it up,
yeah,
gave him some of that herb, poured it in his mouth, and boy,
it's
talk
like
about a hallucination. His
artificial.
hallucination got rid of the voices. And I love Rose's character in this show. I loved her character. And there are some things that happened to her that I hate. But in that moment, I was happy she was able to help Holler.
Yeah. I wish he would have told him the instructions before he took the sip. It's like, no matter what you do not go to. What did you say? You should have told me 10 seconds ago, but you didn't. I was frustrated, like, hell no, man. Like,
Me too.
are you serious?
Come on, Rose. God.
2 seconds prior, to this right here. Yeah, that was it's funny, but it's like, man, chill out with all that.
Yeah.
Have you seen Lord of the Rings?
I seen the first one, yes.
Okay. Are you familiar with the ring? One over all of them, the power, the precious, and
Mm-hmm.
I got those vibes from the shard, the dagger that came off the meteorite crystal that brought this it character to Derry. Man, Lily was attached to that
Oh,
dagger, man. It was turning her to the dark side, man. Oh gosh. That was quite scary. Shout out to Mars though. You know what I'm saying? She pulled up in the slab, ice cream truck, swerving lane to lane. I don't know why she was going so damn fast. Well, no, she was trying to catch up to the entity, so that made sense right there. But shout out to Marge. She was doing her thing in the truck. Hey, we don't got a choice. They really did try to get 3 people on that bike. Um, I was like, what the hell y'all doing? Okay, y'all gonna make it work? They made it 15 feet. Y'all too heavy.
and
Okay.
then of course they would have the Black person doing all the labor intensive stuff on the bike, doing the pedaling. It wasn't even a banana seat bike, B. Avery. Where y'all thought y'all was going on that bike?
I have no
You,
idea.
you should have put somebody on the handlebars, then have somebody on the back of the bike, then maybe Veronica could have been able to make the push. But nah, that was a bad idea. And like you said, shout out to Marge. The writers did a good job of bringing her story full circle from becoming someone we hated to someone who is truly, truly one of the heroes of the story.
Yeah, I give you that. I give you that, man. I give you that. She was she had the kung fu grip on that shard too, trying to get it away from Lily. You ever been attached to something like that, bro? Where you gonna cut your friend's face off if they try to take it from you?
If I was attached to something like that, it was not an inanimate object. It was probably something that has 4 lips and goes through 7 days where something is going on. So no, I haven't been attached to an inanimate object, but you know, you asked me something a couple of episodes ago. Was I team Lily, lunatic Lily, or was I team Veronica when she first found the
The dagger.
shard?
Yeah.
Yeah, the dagger. Excuse me. And B. Avery. To this day, I'm still Team Veronica. I wanted somebody to punch Lily in her belly button so bad. Give up that damn dagger.
Yeah.
Just give it up. And we finally got a backstory and understanding of why me and you knew it because we said it last episode that dagger was doing something to Lily's brain. We said it. We didn't even know. We didn't even have to have Rose to tell us. And in this episode, they told us what was going on. But I wanted them to just jump Lily so bad because she was getting on my nerve with that dagger.
Yeah, I'm glad the events the way they turned out. It took a little longer than I wanted when they had to wrest her down. But I thought that was a nice little subplot to the story. Just like a little nice little side quest. I
Yeah.
did appreciate that. I didn't think the pacing or anything lost its focus. I did appreciate that. That was very effective too because when they finally had her on the ground, seconds before they prodded away, her voice was warped and distorted. Just showing
Mm-hmm.
how possessed she was. And I was like, geez, Louise, like, this is crazy. They're doing a really good job of selling this, and I'm over here like, wow, she really is jacked up in the mind. So, yeah, they need to get this away. But also, man, I don't know if this was obvious or not, or if I'm reading too into it. When not Rose, but when Ronnie held her, like was I can't even talk. My goodness, Ronnie was set like right above her, like this is not you, this is controlling you, and was about to slap her. She was like, "You're a goddamn lifeboat" or something like that. Lily still had her hand on the shard, on the dagger, but those words like set a trigger off in her. I don't know if it was the power of love or whatever, but I just kind of thought that was kind of cool too. Maybe a little corny, but whatever. I thought it was cool. Then they was finally able to take it away from her, and she lost the curse, and hey, Marge was like, hey, we're gonna take turns, holding on to this. She was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, guys. I didn't mean it. Please don't be mad at me. I really did like that. That was a highlight in the episode for me, and then the thing started glowing. So yeah, you have any thoughts there or you good?
No, I was good through that point, man. I was glad to see them John Cena Lily crazy ass, and then they start letting Marge make more of the decisions about how we're going to do that dagger. It did me well, and just shout out to the actress who played Lily. You did a hell of a job of making a little child look loony as hell. You gave every attribute, and I'm so proud of you. I can't wait to see you in some other things. You did a great job.
How did you feel? She did. How did you feel about the when they reveal the plot as far as executing or the plan to execute it okay, hey, we got this map right here, they destroyed the pillar, but if we find the shard, if we find the dagger, and we plant it in this tree, that'll lock the demon back up, but it can't get past this point right here. Maybe we can use Hollering to go find it. They gave him the seed. Like, how did you feel about that whole plot device right there to get the job done?
I kind of roll my eyes, man. Like I felt like this is something that the natives should have been had as a backup plan from Jump Street if something would have ever happened. And the thing that made me roll my eyes the most about this episode revolves around exactly what you're talking about, the events, the moment that they was trying to get the dagger into the tree, and that little situation. That is one of the parts I felt like y'all could have done better about in this whole entire finale that just kind of made me roll my eyes.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna get to that. The reason why I asked you that question is, as far as the execution is concerned, I think they could have just did a better job of coming up with a way to defeat the clown. Because for one, it took me a while to realize what the hell was going on with Pennywise, and he froze in place like that. But I was like, "What's going on?" This
You mean
doesn't.
in this episode, like
Yeah,
when he froze
yeah,
before he was about to eat
right.
Marge? Okay.
No, before before he's about to eat Marsh. Now I understood why I kept watching the episode, so I don't want to comment on it too much. But I
But
was frustrated. But prior to that, I was just saying, okay, they have to get the shard to this tree. I thought they had to get it to the place where they took the original device in the first place. That but it ended up making sense. The only thing that I'll comment on what you just said a second ago, but the thing that bothered me the most of when we started this recap is the amount of CGI throughout this whole episode kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Now, there has been an abundance of CGI work in this series, and it hasn't bothered me. Like there was a ton in the first episode with the mutant bat baby, but that didn't bother me at all. But I know that we complained about the CGI in episode 3 at the very beginning with the old man chasing baby Francis through the woods, and then also at the end when it was in the cemetery and it looked like a Scooby Doo show with all the ghosts and the ghouls floating around saying oogie boogie 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 boogie. I felt that way with all the fog and the ice in this episode. It just didn't look real to me. It just looked fake. It just looked like it was just a giant blue and green screen, and it just wasn't photo real. Now, Pennywise was still very effective and scary for the most part, especially when he was about to eat Marge before he froze. But the whole fog thing and the ice, it just, you know, it kind of clocked me out. And I just wasn't as engaged as I wanted to be for a season finale of such a great show. Do you agree or disagree with any of that?
it just it's not that I disagree or agree. It just didn't bother me at all.
Okay.
Um, I understand that the fog through the teachings and readings of the story, the fog is something that is associated with Pennywise when he's about to do the great snatching of the souls and trying to cross into a different plane. All that comes with him. So I get that. But I wasn't bothered by that aspect as much as I was bothered by some aspects we're going to touch on in a minute when you start talking about old tropes that go on in scary movies.
Yeah. And also they crash the truck and they
Yep.
look up and they're like, oh my gosh, there's a bunch of bodies floating in the air. The fact that they just was able to run up and catch Pennywise, in his little parade fairy thing with, I don't know. It just seemed weird to me. Like it seemed like the threat had ceased, and they was able to defeat him a little bit. I just didn't like that part. It was cool when he was about to eat them and not Ro. I keep saying Rose. Ronnie pulled out the shard, the dagger, and was able to keep him at bay. And he was, running through the fog, and then he tripped Marge and brought her in. Um, that was okay. It started to bring me back. I did like when he was, hunting her down, like walking. He was doing the Pennywise strut. He also started talking about Marge's son, Rich. And if you've seen it, chapter 1, there is another character by the name of Rich. In that film, it came out 2017, of course. Everybody's been saying, "Hey, Brandon, you need to watch. You need to watch it. You'll have a better understanding." Of course, I finally did, and that makes sense, and also ties into the story that they gave us at the very end of the episode. Where how powerful he is, but we'll get to that. I did like that. I did like the foreshadowing. Was that a highlight for you, or did it not do anything for you at all?
No, it did something for me, but what really done something for me has been the fans that get into the comment section for me and use reviews that forced me to go and start reading this stuff and understanding the different characters that couldn't die or would mess up the continuity of the story. And that's how I first learned about Marge wound up going on having a kid that she named after Richie. And I like how they tied into this story that Pennywise is such a powerful character. He transcends time itself. It's almost like we've got incursion situations from the MCU going on, and Pennywise can create them, get stuck in them, and things can run parallel for him. So I enjoyed the way they stacked this on top of all the other problems that they were having at the moment.
Yeah. So he's about to attack Marge. Opens his mouth about to bite her, and he just freezes. I'm like, oh, what the hell is going on? Did they get the shard back in the right place? I thought I had to be over here, but apparently he has to be over here. And and that's when the whole gang pulls up. Mike, Charlotte, Tenniel, Leroy. Hey kids, come to safety. And Hank is like, give me the shard. And I'm like, okay, why is he frozen? It took me a long time to figure that out. I looked to see how much time we got left. I'm like, damn, we got like 20, 30 more minutes left. You know what I'm saying? They right there. They got the shard. Pennywise is frozen. They're about to save the day. And I was like, I know something is gonna have to come up to stop them. They're not just gonna be able to end the episode like this easy. Something is gonna have to go awry. But Lamont, the last thing I thought it was gonna be was dumbass
Shaw.
Shaw over there with his ego so far up his ass that his brain is clouded by his own dookie. I mean, man, you gonna shoot your own like I can't even articulate what I'm trying to say right now. I'm lost for words. I almost broke my TV from throwing my remote into it so hard. I was so pissed off at that. I mean, Lamont, it is just certain groups of people like this on the planet, man, that are just so willfully dense, and they're the destruction of everything around them, us included. And it's a damn shame. It is a damn shame. And it's sickening. I'm tired of it. It's the truth, and it's our reality, and I hate it. What was your thoughts when you saw Francis Shaw over there firing his little PP gun with all of his his stupidity?
My first thought was, I hope like hell it gets to eat all of them. I knew it was going to get Shaw, but I wanted it to get old Buzz Lightyear haircut too. I wanted to get him. I
Yeah.
wanted him to get the rest of the guys. And it was just a microcosm of what we see from colonizers back in the day to MAGA in today's day. Whenever they see that everybody else in society is catching up or equality is starting to take hold, they say, oh, nah, hell to the no with that. I would rather us all be in pain than to see us all, a rising tide lift all boats. And that's what Shaw is trying to do. He is seeing that the world is changing, things are becoming more equitable for everybody. And he feels as though to fix that, they've got to have an entity that they think they can control to keep everybody at bay. What is that? That sounds just like something going on in real life now today, folks. And Shaw got what was coming to him. I just wish they would have let us see that in a more gruesome way. And it just sickened me too, B. Avery. It just made me sick. This man that y'all done use both of the black dudes. Y'all used them up. Now y'all ready to discard them. And I knew what was going on with Pennywise because I remember Rose and Leroy, while they was in the van, basically telling Hollering, jump in his brain, see if you can slow him down. So I already knew what was going on with Pennywise. To me, it was just a matter of how long could Hollering hold on to keep Pennywise distracted.
And I didn't know that was what was going on at first. I was
Okay.
like, oh, because when okay, so they killed Tenniel. Stupid. I don't understand why they shot in the first place. Like, what are you trying to stop them from doing? Even if they're trying to escape, like what do you gain by what are they gonna say? What are they gonna do? They're in the middle of nowhere. They're not, they're trying to run to a tree. You like I
Well, Shaw knows for sure that if Leroy is there, Leroy is going to do the right thing. He's going to tell people. So they wanted to remember they wanted Leroy dead last episode. Didn't happen. And they knew that Leroy was an honorable human being. He was going to get out there and tell the whole world what the hell the military was doing in Derry. And so they wanted to take him out one way or the other when they wanted to take out everybody associated with him.
I'm
And go ahead.
I'm just saying, considering the current events of everybody in the town dying, a mystic fog, a whole high school being disappearing, bodies floating in the air, a floating clown. I mean, I guess it just really didn't matter to Shaw. He was crazy. I mean, he tried to team up with it at the end before he died. So I don't know even why I'm trying to make sense of it. So I guess I can just let it go because the man is Cocoa Puffs, just like Ingrid Kirsch is. So I guess there's really no point of me asking that because they're dumb. It doesn't matter. So that there we go. I answered my question. I can't. It
And did
can't.
you see? Did you see Shaw literally talking to the entity?
That's what I'm saying. I
Like,
didn't know
like, bro,
that figment of my imagination or real, and you're both. You're
yeah,
free.
yeah,
Like,
free, go. Like he's talking to the entity, right? He's talking to the entity as if he has power over the entity, as if he's doing the entity a favor. Like, bruh, look, I know you got all these powers, but something you can't do, I'm doing for you is I'm letting you go free. I'm
yeah,
letting you go free. And I love the way it played his ass. It walked past him, remembered the sniff, and then turned his face into a buzzsaw. Loved it. Every
yeah.
minute. Shaw got what was coming to him.
Yeah, and going back to Halloran because Francis Shaw was like, "We're gonna fix it." Then they jumped to Halloran, and that's they hit him and woke him up because I was like, "Oh, Halloran," because on the way there, they was like, "We're not gonna make it in time." Rose is like, they're on the water and the lake is frozen. He was like, "Well, I can slow him down." So Halloran hacked into his mind. I didn't realize that at first. I was like, "Oh." So I thought that was real cool when they made him go back in time or whatever to 1908. I guess not when he first arrived, but when he first took on the persona of what was his name? Not
Bob Gray.
Bob Gray. I was gonna say Bob Davis. Bob Gray. He was like, "I'm not Bob Gray." I was like, "Oh, wait a minute. That's his true self right there. He's admitting it to the people. I am a god. I am a world devourer, a world killer." I was like, "Oh, okay. I like this right here. This is pretty cool." So I thought that was neat. But yeah, I'm glad that Shaw did get his face bit off. That was great. I will also say this, Lamont. This did disappoint me. We didn't get any justice from the white supremacist group in episode 7 that burnt down the black spot. I wanted them to die in this episode some way, but that did not happen. That kind of frustrated me. How you feel about that? And
If
also,
I wouldn't have,
how do you feel about how do you feel about Pennywise's comments talking about I'm a devourer of worlds, I'm a god and stuff.
well, him saying that just literally put him next level. Like he's basically telling you his powers is that of a god, but bruh, you can't say that you as powerful as a god if they can fence you into a certain location. You ain't devouring nothing but that one location. You're not a devourer of worlds. You are a devourer of a neighborhood. So shut the fuck up, Pennywise. That's what I was thinking. And then when it comes down to the white flight, because if I would have never had the opportunity to read and listen to our subscribers that always stay in the comments, shout out to all you guys. The way you trigger that algorithm nowadays, you leave us comments. They, like I said, they forced me to read the story. And because I read the story, B. Avery, I knew in the story, the same white people that did those heinous things, they wind up helping the kids and helping the black people later on in life, later on down the road in the story. They wind up setting up funds and transition homes and all these good things to help make up for what they did wrong. But I really wish that they would have took this story, B. Avery, and had Pennywise eat them out of their ass, literally turn their asses over, start munching them from the buttocks is what I wanted him to do, and they didn't give us our justice.
They did not bend them over and eat them from the buttocks. As long as it's painful and they are suffering, you know, I'm good with that. I'm good with that. But Shaw, he ends up dying and he gets his face bitten off. And like some idiots, they end up, they shoot Leroy, they kill Taniel. But they got the shard. The kids do, the losers club, you know, Will, Lily, um, Marge, and I think that's it. Those wait, there's Marge and Ronnie. excuse me, Ronnie. Will is scared. You know, he gets the pep talk from his dad, like, "Hey, I'm not you. I can't do it. You don't gotta be me, son. I don't want you to be. You don't gotta be. Just be you, okay? And if that's scary, you know, it's all good." So they go running over there, right? I like the fact that Leroy ran up and shot it the clown. You know, he ran out of bullets, but why didn't anybody else? Actually, let me go back. I'm tripping. Um, Again, just stupid ass people. I mean, you see a clown skipping in the middle of a lake with blood on his face. You don't decide to shoot that. You finna yell out, "This man is a traitor. Keep him right there on the ice." And we're just gonna sit here and let this bloody flesh clown go over there and eat these kids with this dagger. I mean, you know the dagger is important. You know what the dagger can do because a few episodes ago, when y'all was at Nebolt Street, you know, it was like the pillars, and then y'all ain't stupid. It's just like, I don't know, it's like the writing kind of just fell apart. But again, I guess I can't get mad at them because they stupid as hell. We just saw Shaw try to team up with the demon. You know what I'm saying? So, like, again, why am I trying to make sense of their decisions? You know, like, they are dumb. Like, so, you know, I guess we can move past that. They're stupid, and he was like, "They're traitors, not the demon."
Boy, y'all got me every worked up over that.
That's what he did, though. It's a bloody faced clown skipping over ice, eating.
Oh my god!
And you decide he don't know what team to join. He's like, "Who do I shoot?"
Nope.
You know, like the aliens or my humans. I'm you know, but anyway, so they you know, Leroy and Hanlon and everybody, they look at each other like, "All right, on one, two, three," you know. Reminds me, remember the Dark Knight? I'm going off on a little tangent here. Okay, you seen the Dark Knight, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, at the very beginning of the movie where the Joker has all the people and they had the three black men on the ground, and then he throws like a knife down there and they have to fight for their lives, like the last man standing. You do know what to do in that situation, right?
What do you do?
And because I'm not gonna kill you, bro. I'm just not gonna do that. Like, we just gonna look, we gonna give each other a look. And we just gonna ball out and attack all of them at one time and just hope for the best of it. You know what I'm saying? If we get out, we get out. If we die, we die. I'm not killing that anyway. What I was trying to say is, man, you didn't catch me here. That's what they was doing in this scene right here. They turned on the white supremacists. They took their guns. They fought them down. They beat them. All that stuff right there. But what pissed me off is Hanlon. Leroy took the gun. He went over there and shot the clown and stopped him and slowed him down as Rich and the gang is trying to put the dagger, the shard in the tree to lock him up. Why did nobody else use their guns as well? Charlotte threw her gun on the ground and then ran over there. Why won't you take your gun with you and go over there and shoot as well? Like, what are you doing? Hank didn't shoot his gun at all. He was just screaming, "Ah, ah!" Just do that and shoot. Now Rose ended up shooting, but it took her 5 minutes. So I'm just like, and everybody's just screaming and they running over there. They're trying to push the shard down. Go over there and help. You know what I'm saying? This would have been like, man, we would have been 20 deep in that thing over there. Hands, feet, everything, all the body weight pushing. Hank is over there just screaming with his gun, not doing anything. I was frustrated. I was like, why is not everybody shooting? Why is not everybody trying to push the shard to the tree? Am I tripping, or am I overreacting, or am I making sense?
No, you're making sense, and this is kind of where things kind of got on my nerves too, because for me it was deeper than just them shooting at Pennywise. Pennywise done went on this long damn diatribe about how he is a world conqueror and all that. He's so powerful. Well, if you're so powerful, why is it that a bullet can affect you in the first place? Like for me, the fact that bullets could slow him down was stupid. You did a good job of allowing Howerin and his psychic abilities to slow him down. That was great because that fits. But this thing is telling you it is so powerful. It is a being of light. It is a world eater. Ain't no bullet gonna do nothing to a world eater. And then the second thing that got on my nerve in this vein was when Pennywise seen the kids about to put the shard in the tree, why is he fucking skipping? Like, bruh, you really you really think that you don't need to put some urgency behind getting your ass over there? And when he saw it was almost too late, that's when he wanted to turn into a bat creature and fly over there. But bruh, you should have been flying your crazy, scary ass over there, Mr. World Eater, when you really only eat in the neighborhood. You should have been flying over there from jump when you were skipping and laughing. So all that is what got on my nerves about the situation, B. Avery.
All of that. I
Yeah.
feel, man, especially on the skipping bat flying part. The only slight pushback I'll give you about, I mean, I feel you on the bullet thing. That doesn't make sense. My only excuse for that is that he was in a weakened state because they wasn't as afraid of him anymore, and or because the containment was loose. So he wasn't as powerful because the gate was open, but the shard was right there. I don't know. Maybe I'm reaching here. But I do actually agree with you a bit more than my own excuse that I just tried to make up. You make a good point. You make a good point. I think the effects are pretty cool when they first got him in there. And they showed all the pillars lighting up. How did you feel about Rich like the ghost of Rich running over there and helping out as well? Was that
Loved it. Loved it. Like, because you know how we felt about the way he sacrificed himself in the most gentleman-like act that any man could do. Or let me just rephrase, any child could do, any young teen, young boy could do. And to give him a great callback in that way was fantastic. And not only did we see Rich then, but we saw him later. And I love how they continue to carry on that spirit because he gave the ultimate sacrifice, and Rich deserved that moment. He deserved it.
Yeah, he did, man. Yeah, he did. And it was I like when it was going away, how they showed all of the deaths or the major scare events in his face kind of going away. The last one was the mutant baby, and then it showed the clown, and then it kind of disintegrated and went into space. I think that was pretty cool. I did like that. That was kind of just like a little nice icing on the cake as far as wrapping up the horror element of the show.
I got a question for you.
What's up?
Did you laugh when Marge, Lunatic Lily, and Veronica first crept up on Pennywise in his little circus truck, and he rolls out the bloody red carpet, opens the door, and then just basically had jokes on them? He called one of them the freak. He called one of them the failure, and I think he called the other one the fraud or something.
Yeah.
I was like, this
Which one is
clown got jokes.
Yeah, I forgot all about that. That was kind of funny. Yeah, this dude don't got no remorse for nothing, man. So,
No.
but yeah, I forgot about that. Was kind of funny though. Um, but right after this, they had the funeral for Rich, and that was quite sad. And it was interesting because Mars was like, "Yeah, I've only known Rich for a month." And I was like, "Damn, I didn't think about that, or I forgot about it at least." I was like, "They just met not too long ago." But had such a crazy impact on each other's life. Um, how did you feel about Hollering going over to the parents and trying to comfort them and console them and extend his condolences?
I loved every minute of it because he still has his powers, and he saw Rich touching the dad, and when he said that hand you feel on your shoulder is your son, I was just very happy that the family took him seriously and didn't go flying off the deep end, because it could have been easy for them to fly off the deep end because they're emotional right now. There's a reason why funeral homes and funeral home parlors make so much money, because they prey on your emotions and pry open your pocketbook. The family was very emotional, and instead of going off on Hollering, they just took him at his face value. Dad could feel the shoulders pressing, and that made him feel good, and I was glad to see that moment.
Yeah, me too. I was also glad to see Lily be able to go to the grave of her father, Mr. Pickleman, and say some nice, kind words as well. But Lamont, we got to talk about this. Lily and Marge and Lily, when they met in the clubhouse, Marge was like, "I just want to let you know when it had me secluded, but right before he ate me, he talked to me solo dolo. start talking about my son, Rich. And he also started talking about the past, the present, and the future, and how time is all the same to him. Or the past, present, and future is all the same to him. I don't feel like he's lying. I don't feel like he's bluffing. I mean, we done seen this dude manipulate reality all types of ways. So I think that he can do it, man. But that kind of scares me a little bit, man. You thinking season 2 or 3, he gonna go back in time to 1935 or 1908 and try to kill some people to stop the events that went down right here? What you think about this past, present, future thing?
Well, again, because of our audience and their utmost love for what we do, I already kind of knew where the writers was going to go next season, and I do like that they gave us that Easter egg that yes, Pennywise will be going back in the future. I mean, back to the past in the next season. So next season, ladies and gentlemen, it's not going to be a tale closer to the '80s. He's going to be going back most likely to 1908, and Mars just basically told you what they're going to do in the future season. So I enjoyed that they set it up in that way.
Hmm. Something else that frustrated me, y'all let us know what y'all think about that. Something else that frustrated me, I think Hank was a little too chill when he walked up on Will and Ronnie kissing under the tree. I would have been like, hey, cut all that out, cut all that out. I don't know, man. Father, you're a daddy, you know. What would you have done?
Man, it would have been a whole lot of several questions of what the hell is y'all doing? How long this been going on? And is this the appropriate place to be doing this? Daddy's all up in this. I know y'all gonna do what y'all want to do when I'm not around, but while I'm here, ain't this shit ain't gonna be happening. Ain't gonna be no soup cooling lips, kissing and locking, especially that right after. No, stop it. Stop it. As a matter of fact, girl, go home. Will, I like you. You a nice young man. I can trust you if I kick the bucket. But for right now, no kissing, brother. No kissing, not in my presence. A hug is fine. I even let y'all go a little deeper than a church hug. It ain't just got to be an arm, elbow. Y'all can bump bodies, but that's it.
Oh my
That's it.
goodness.
No kissing. No kissing.
Oh my goodness. Okay. No, yeah, no kissing, especially in front of me. That's just not gonna go down. But during the conversation that was having before they did all that, they was having, talking about, staying or not. If they leave, he gonna forget. That's how it works in Derry. One was gonna stay, one was gonna go. But right when that was finna pull off, we got the news that Rose asked them to join the Ghostbusters, asked them to join the Men in Black, asked them to join the coalition. Like, hey, man, we need your help. You know what's going down. You can, I want to retire. It's not the same. My baby Daniel is dead. Do you want to join our organization and help keep the monster away? First, they was like, no, we good. But then they came back. Um, how you feel about that decision? Would you have joined, or would you have like, no, we are going to Alaska. We out of here. We're going back to Africa. I'm joking. What would you have done?
My first impulse is hell to the no. I'm getting as far away from Derry as I can. That's my first impulse. But I get to thinking about who I am, and I'm a fighter for the marginalized communities, and I'm a fighter for those that really can't do a whole lot of fighting for themselves. I stand up for those. I hate bullies, and there's no bigger bully on planet Earth than this entity. I still think that I would leave,
Hmm.
but there is a part of me that might would stick around and try to come up with a plan over the next 27 years to figure out what can you do to stop this thing. Maybe we need to build a Ghostbusters echo chamber or something and try to lock his ass up in there. What's the opposite of light? What can harm light? I would stay to figure out what we can do in the next 27 years to do something to this thing.
Yeah. Right on, right on. Yeah, we got to figure something out. We can't just wing it. We need to be preparing ourselves. You know what I'm saying? So that's the end of the episode, guys. Tell us what you. Oh no, that is not the end of the episode. Thought it was the end of the episode, but we get another scene, Lamont. We find out what happened to Miss Ingrid Kirsch. Ingrid Kirsch. It's me, Stanley. This is who I really am. We see her at Juniper Hill, the Looney Tune place. She's checked in and she's in the wheelchair straitjacket. But then we jump forward in time to 1988. It is 26 years later. Now, Lamont, this is going to confuse me. I'm confused. I wasn't able to put all the pieces together. Y'all can talk about me in the comments if you want to. There's loud screaming. We don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's the same lady that, they showed the shot of Ingrid Kirsch. And then it jumped to 26 years later and they showed an old lady painting and she had a little nightgown on. I don't know if that's supposed to be the same person. I don't know if that's supposed to be Ingrid Kirsch or not. But we hear somebody screaming. Then we go down the hall, we go to another room, we see a body hanging themselves. Somebody killed themselves. I don't know who killed themselves, but we see a young girl turn around, and that is Beverly. Beverly was part of the Losers Club in the It Chapter 1 that came out in 2017. She did survive and made it to Chapter 2. And I think that, and Jessica Chastain is the actress that plays Beverly in It Chapter 2. So I don't know who the woman is that hung herself. And I'm not entirely sure if the old lady that said, nobody really dies in Derry is Mrs. Kirsch as well. I'm assuming yes, but what did I miss there? Can you make sense of any of the things I just said? What was your thoughts about the ending conclusion scene in this episode, this finale?
You have to be a head for the series, the books, and the story to really get that. That was Ingrid, and it's 26 years later, meaning this is right here the period just before her best friend, Bob Gray, her daddy, is about to make himself revealed again. And from what I'm understanding, usually weird deaths start happening just before it starts to pop up. As it's kind of like he starts using his psychic abilities, because he still has his psychic abilities even though he's having to be dormant. He just ramps it up right when it's time for him to come out. And so that was Ingrid getting happy that she's going to get a chance to see her daddy again. And that was the beginning of the new cycle of it getting ready to come back and start munching on folks all over again, with dumbass Miss Kirsch thinking that maybe she's going to be able to convince it to do what? Help her now. What's he going to do for you now? He's going to show you your daddy again. I don't know what Mrs. Kirsch thinks she's going to get out of it, other than she's just full blown evil and want to see people in pain.
But do we know who the lady that hung herself was?
No, I have no idea who that was.
Okay. All right, man. Well, I enjoyed it, but I had those questions. I had my nitpicks that I mentioned, but overall, I thought it was a great series, and I'm satisfied. And I can't wait for season 2 chapter 2, because they said it Welcome to Derry Chapter 1 probably gonna get Chapter 2 and Chapter 3. What are your final words, sir? What are your final thoughts?
Enjoyed this series. Is one of my top 3 series that we've covered and shows I've watched this whole year. Really love it, and I can't wait to see what they do to take the story backwards in time and see how good they can make that.
Right on, right on, right on. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we want to thank you so much for tuning in to our It Welcome to Derry episode 8 recap review reaction for the season finale, Winter Fire. And give us all your thoughts and your theories and all that good stuff in the comments. Definitely going to be paying attention and chopping it up with you guys. Also, let us know in the comments, like, what was your favorite episode out of the season? I have to say mine has to be a tie between episodes 2 and 4. When Marge chopped her eye out, and also when Ronnie mom was haunting her in the bed. That was just top tier horrific moments for me. Episode 7 was dope too, so I got to throw that in there as well. You got any favorite episodes?
Oh, 7 definitely was my favorite. Love episode 7.
Alrighty. Well, guys, if you're watching this on my channel, please subscribe to Lamont's channel. And if you're watching this on Lamont's channel, please subscribe to my channel. All of that great information is in the description box below for the links. But guys, we just want to thank you again so much for tuning in. And before you go, don't forget, I'm B. Avery. That's Lamont, and that's just our opinion. Peace out, and we'll see you next time.